Because of the holiday week and what I think is one jury member needing some days off this week, we got our only one day in court this week. It's day 18 of the Karen Reed trial. Welcome to the Roundup, True Crime with Mike. Here I give you an update to current cases so you can quickly catch up on today's or this week's happenings on some public cases. Because Jackson had to go out of town for some family issues, Yannetti had to do the cross-examination on Brian Higgins to start the day. It appears it was brought up on Friday that he would have to go, and Karen had to give permission to allow Yannetti to finish the cross-examination. Let's start with a clip of the opening scene.
You claim were the complete text exchanges between yourself and Karen Reed and yourself and John O'Keefe, correct?
What I provided was the complete, I let them know that it was a complete exchange between myself and the defendant. And I said that I may have had other text strings at other times with Mr. O'Keefe.
I'm going to proceed to ask you a series of questions which call for a yes or no answer. Can we agree that you'll answer yes or no to those questions?
If I can answer yes or no to the best of my ability, I will.
All right, I'm going to keep the questioning very simple, sir. Okay? You did not provide to investigators any other text messages between you and anyone else.
That's correct.
In September of 2022, you were served with a preservation order for your phone, were you not?
Yes.
After September of 2022, you never received anything in writing that canceled or lifted that preservation order, correct?
That's correct.
After September of 2022, you made the decision to dispose of your phone without consulting anybody about the decision to throw out your phone, correct?
Yes.
Before you threw the phone away, you did a factory reset of it, did you not?
No, I did not.
Well, you've previously testified that you testified in another proceeding on June 1st, correct, of 2023?
Yes.
Prior to that June 1st testimony, you met with some people and gave a statement on May 5th of 2023, did you not?
I did meet with them. I don't know if that was the date.
Okay. It was.
So we could see that they are continuing with the question about what Brian did with his old phone. So to summarize, Brian was given an order to protect the phone. Brian threw away the phone and cut up the SIM card. Yannetti finished his cross after that. And here is what Brian talked about on Redirect. Lally asked if Brian would have dated Karen if he was single, and he said he didn't know. They went over the key entries at the police station. Then Lally asked why he got rid of his phone number. He was undercover and his number got out on the web, so he had to change it. Last question was if he saw the body, and he answered no, he would have stopped. Recross was simple with basically summarizing it up as this. July was when he got the call from a target of an investigation, but didn't change the number until a few months later. Brian changed the number on September 29th and got the preservation order on the 30th. Then there was two witnesses we didn't get to see or hear because they were underage. It was the niece and nephew of John. People couldn't use their phones during the testimony. The figments we got was that the fighting picked up near the incident, but that was about it. Next up was the doctor who saw John O'Keefe in the ER on the 29th. The main thing that Dr. Justin Rice brought was that John had head trauma and that his body temperature was just over 80 degrees. The EMTs were trying to do CPR, and the focus of the ER was to get his heart started again and warm up the body. He then talked about how he did see Karen Reed that day, but really didn't remember her. She was in for a possible Section 12, and that her blood alcohol level of 93 milliliter for 1 deciliter. Next up was somebody from the lab in the hospital who went over the lab procedures for taking blood for an alcohol test. That person was Gary Fowler. He described how they don't use an alcohol swab so it doesn't interfere with the test. He also said her test was 93 milliliter. On cross, the defense tried to bring up things that could influence the test, like high lipids. His response was that the machine would flag those things and indicate an issue or not even do the test. Next up was Nicholas Roberts. He is a forensic scientist for the Massachusetts State Police. His job is to look at the lab reports and understand what it means in terms of forensics. So the big thing in his testimony was that serum, which is the liquid part of the blood, and how it can differ when they test it compared to a BAC test that police normally use. What he estimated was that the 93 milliliter and her weight and height, that her BAC was .08. For DUI in Massachusetts, that is the limit. However, the big issue was that this test was done at 9:08 a.m. and her driving was at midnight. So the estimated BAC at 12:30 could have been .26, which is very high. He went over some of the problems a person would have with the alcohol that high. But unfortunately, there is no way to show what the alcohol level was earlier. Theoretically, Karen could have drank all that after she got home. Next up was Michael Prada. People said he looked like from the grandpa from Up. He was the superintendent for the Canton Public Works. He was in charge of all the plow dryers for that day. On direct, he mostly talked about the size of the plows used. On crass, he was asked what Michael Proctor asked for. I don't think this witness really helped either side. Last up was Luis Jutras. He is the manager of the IT systems for the town. He was asked by the police to get the video for some of the buildings that had cameras. He was asked for town hall and for the library. We saw 2 clips of videos, but they were very short. The cameras were on motion detection and not sure how much it had to pick up to start the camera. In the view from the library, it would be too far away to see a tail light in my mind. He was also asked about the GPS and the plows that day, but said there were problems and didn't get the GPS information. Court has the next 3 days off, so we will be back next Monday. I am at CrimeCon, so come say hi if you have seen my videos. Thank you for listening to an episode of The Roundup. Be safe out there, and remember, don't do anything bad that will end up on one of my episodes.